Welcome back to Quick Movies. Today, I will show you a wrongdoing thrill ride blood and gore movie from 2016 and named Don't Breath. Keep an eye out and take care. An elderly person is hauling a young lady by the hair. Boxer Road. That appears to part of an unwanted area. A gathering of youngsters, 2 men, and a lady open a door from a Vanki house. One of them stops the alert before it can go off. Similar individual who looks the most apprehensive rehashes their standards as they go into the house about not taking any money. Snatching just things that are under 10 GS. They are in and out of the house quick. Before they leave, they switch the caution back on. Also, break the front entryway window which actuates the alert sound as they escape later. They're driving in their vehicle, smoking, pot. Visiting the anxious person begins, telling the other 2 about one more of their companions that is leaving town. They don't appear to be upset, saying everybody leaves Detroit, even they were wanting to leave for California. After the following burglary without any plans of returning, the young lady advises the apprehensive person to accompany them, however he can't leave his father. They drop him off at his home. He goes in and go directly to his father's review room, where he opens a cabinet and returns the key from the house they recently looted. His father works in home security. The third person, called Cash, goes to fence the things they got in the burglary and doesn't get however much he trusted. He contends a little with the person that purchases the things from him, however the person lets him know that assuming he needs cash, he ought to take cash. He gives him a tip about again work. Cash fills his companions in regarding it. A house has a place with a loner veteran got by the apprehensive folks. Father and is separated of the city that is deserted. That doesn't bring a lot of certainty up in the other 2. So many make sense of why they ought to loot it clearly. The vet's girl was ran over by a rich young lady and her family provided him with a tremendous settlement of something like $300K. The young lady obliges the thought a lot simpler than the anxious person Alex. He's stressed over the results of getting such a huge sum to both him and his father's organization. He leaves later. That day, the young lady Ruff sends Alex an instant message asking to finish the work for her so she could get somebody out. While Alex researches, the vet Ruff is at home with her younger sibling, her mother, and her mother's new sweetheart. Him and her mother are horrendous. It becomes obvious that the message Ruff sent Alex was plainly about her sister when she begins asking her she needs to go to California with her. She went to get her sister out of the horrible family circumstance. Alex, Ruff and Cash go to stake out the vet's house and neighborhood. Alex and Ruff remain in the vehicle alone. She imparts a story from her young life to him and Alex tells her that he will accompany him to California when they follow through with the task. Cash returns the vehicle and affirms what they had some awareness of the house. At the point when a Rottweiler canine leaps at the young lady's window, the elderly person requires the canine and Cash lets them know that is the vet. They understand he's visually impaired and have a little contention about how dishonest it would be to burglarize a visually impaired person. That evening, they return to the area. The lights are off in the vet's house. They deal with the canine first by taking care of it meet with some sort of medication when they go to open the front entryway. Understand that the keys Alex had taken from his father's security organization don't work. They check for a side entryway or a window. Yet, find just a little window, which just Ruff can go box. She goes into the house and figures out how to stop the caution with a remote that Alex gives her. She sees outlined pictures of the vet's dead little girl on the mantle. In the meantime, Alex and Cash are sitting tight for her to let them in. When inside the house, they begin going box. It's searching for the protected with the Cash Ruff looks box. The wardrobe Cash goes on the following floor to chloroform the old vet, so he don't awaken. He finds him resting in his room with the sounds of a video of his little girl playing when she was a kid. The vet awakens and switches off the television. However, Cash figures out how to set up the gas. He descends in them 3. Find a shot entryway, imagining that Cash should be reserved someplace behind it. Cash takes out a gun and feeling that the vet is dozing impacts the bolt from the door. Alex, terrified about how having a firearm there changes things, chooses to leave. He takes his shoes from the stack and goes cash, and Ruff opened the entryway, yet it appears out of the blue. Asking who's there? Both of them fall quiet, however he hears Cash and starts following his voice as he attempts to initially mislead and afterward reason with the elderly person. He shoots at him once to startle him, yet that doesn't stop him. Alex. Here is the shot outside. The vet gets the firearm from his hands and fires him in the head. He doesn't have a clue about the young lady is there as well. She conceals in the wardrobe. Alex strolls into the house and nearly chances upon the vet. All things considered, avoiding him. As he goes around the house, blasting the entryways and the windows, he conceals in the room and texts with Ruff. She lets him know where she's stowing away and he pursues her previously. Alex arrives, however. The vet comes into the storeroom, dismantles off drywall to uncover the safe, enters his code which is completely apparent to Ruff, and checks if the cash spy and large present after he figures out that it hasn't been taken. He shuts the safe and strolls off, still uninformed that Ruff is inside the storeroom. To Alex comes in the storage room and proposes they ought to call the police. Ruff conflicts. She opens the safe and takes the cash shockingly. Thinks there are $1 million there. They choose to live box the entryway that was blasted, reasoning it would lead them, box the storm cellar, and to a seal that prompts the yard before they could go box the entryway. The vet shows up from inside and starts hauling Cash's body to a different some portion of the house. After a little panic, he keeps doing what he was doing, which gives them a space to run. Box the entryway. As of now, he actually doesn't have a clue about that they're there until minutes some other time when he tracks down their shoes. He goes to mind the safe and understands the cash is no more. In the interim, Alex also Ruff are going box the storm cellar. They are stunned to find a girl roped up with armed force harmonies. The occasion, she moves a ring joint. Toa tells the vet that there is a going thing on in the basement. While there, Alex and Ruff figure out that the young lady is the very one that ran over his girl. Ruff chooses to help her, regardless of what she had done. They attempt to go box the storm cellar hatch, yet the vet is hanging tight for them in front of it and begins shooting. He kills the young lady that killed his little girl as Alex and Ruff are running. The vet is calling to his child, saying that his child is dead. While holding the body of the dead young lady, he then, at that point, pursues them in the tremendous cellar. After he switches off the electricity, since they are additionally dazed in a way, he nearly figures out how to get them and choke Alex. Yet, once more, the person escapes with Ruff. Beyond the storm cellar, the Rottweiler, who is presently completely conscious, is hanging tight for them. The canine pursues after them on the second floor and corners them in one of the rooms. The windows there are banished, and it appears to be that they have no real way to escape. In the interim, the vet makes up for lost time to them and is outside off room with his canine and a gun. Ruff and Alex attempt to figure out how to get away. At the point when she sees a vent on the wall, he advises her to go box it and that he will guard the entryway as she enters the vent. The elderly person in the canine break box the entryways and assault Alex. He falls box the window onto a celling window. One level down back at the room, the canine follows Ruff in the vent by her smell and pursues her box. The shaft, she bounces into an upward shaft to get away. The vet acknowledges where Alex is and shoots the window, flinging him down on the first floor. Or on the other hand, once more, Alex runs, however he gets up to speed to him in the room where he keeps his planting apparatuses and where he had reserved Cash's body. He beats Alex, oblivious, and wounds him with monster planting scissors. Ruff awakens in the shaft, hurt and torment. She begins slithering, box the vents again when she spots two openings, one going down in the house and the other external the house, as she attempts to break box the bars at the initial driving beyond the house. The vet snatches her from the other one. Ruff awakens in the cellar. She's tied up the same way as the other young lady was. The vet is there and she beseeches him to let her go, saying she won't educate anybody regarding the young lady. He makes sense of, notwithstanding, that holding the young lady in the storm cellar wasn't about torment or discipline for how she had treated his little girl. It was his insane thought that since she took his youngster from him, it would just be fair. She ought to offer him a youngster as a trade-off. He'd been holding her there since she was pregnant with his child, with his crazy rationale. He arrives at the resolution that Ruff is at fault for her passing, and she ought to be considered responsible in the meantime. Alex awakens the vet hadn't wounded him. However, Cash's body. He falls the canine into the room and secures it in, then, at that point, he opens the front entryway back in the storm cellar. The vet is warming something up. He tells Ruff that she would now have to bear his youngster in the young lady's dead. Be that as it may, since he's not a rapist, he wouldn't compel himself on her. Simply his sperm. It's uncovered that he was warming up his sperm so he could infuse it in her. Luckily Alex burst into the cellar at the right second and the vet can't do what he needed to do to rough Alex, change the vet up, leases Ruff. Who kicks the hell out of elderly person in addition to other things? Alex tells Ruff that calling the police presently is out of the question, that they ought to simply leave the vet tied up in the storm cellar. Both of them take the money and leave the cellar, going to the front entryway. After a long pursuit, she at long last gets to Cash's vehicle. However, when the canine makes up for lost time to her, she the pack with the cash outside. Also, once in the vehicle, she understands that she doesn't have the critical Ruff snares the canine inside the car in a sharp way. However, when she is out and gets the pack, the vet snatches her once more and starts pulling her toward his home by her hair. At the point when they arrive, Ruff tracks down the remote for the caution and actuates it. The sound totally perplexes the vet and she figures out how to push him down in the storm cellar, imagining that he's dead. She snatches the cash and runs as the police is heading over to the house. Ruff is sitting with her younger sibling. The bar of an air terminal. She hears the news on the bar television, with a commentator discussing what occurred. The vet had endured a fall. Anyway, he didn't specify the way that she was engaged with the burglary too, or that the cash was absent. Ruff is allowed to carry on with her best existence with her sister in California, perhaps make a point to buy in and turn on warnings so you can observe more recordings like this. Gratitude for watching. Thanks salute buddies for watching video. PLZ, do not forget to like, share and subscribe my channel.